Well, good morning as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful morning, Friday morning, September 27th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Doherty, Francis Ann, and then, of course, the likes of you out there to make it your business to enhance and fortify this wonderful concept called public access. This morning with us is nothing less than a miracle,
Yeah.
and you will realize soon why. An individual, a wonderful friend, an influential figure in our community, a person who knows everything about good, positive energy, nice, intelligent, social, and just a wonderful person altogether. Justin Ward is here with us this morning, and I have to make adjustments just so you won't blame me that I was making
Yeah.
him look bad on purpose. Um, but Justin, yeah, so nice to see you.
Oh, good
I used
morning.
to
Thank
see
you.
you like so more often, and I know you're so busy lately. You're so busy. Period.
Yeah, I don't know doing what, but I'm busy. I mean, I'm out there, right? It's really not much, Yeah, no, I'm busy. I try to stay busy.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, you're the guy to go to if we want to know about the demeanor of our community, about the state of mind. No.
you know what's interesting? You know what's funny? I get so many people asking me that, and I think it's because of these different, through the events and the
Tell
picnics and the
people what you
posts.
do so they will
So
have
I
a.
do. So for a lot of years, I used to put events together, and then out of COVID, the designer picnics. I started doing designer picnics, and it took a whole different life of its own. And now I do these designer
And you're good
picnics.
at it.
I think so. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
about good, but
you make it happen
no, I make it
effortlessly.
happen. I try my best. You can have a lot of fun with it. You can be creative. You get to see all different types of people, and you have my staff. It's pretty much, yeah, like I said, with the designer picnics, my concept was I told people, you pick your favorite restaurant, you put a food order in, I pick it up, bring it back to the beach, and everything's on the beach. All designer pillows, the whole layout of the design, the tiki torches, the fire pit, the s'mores bar, and it's one of those businesses that it's funny how things just certain things just give birth to something, because it was an unlimited business that you could be creative with, from the
Yeah.
decor and all sorts of
But you
things.
can't go wrong. You have to satisfy everyone all the time, correct?
Yeah, well, it's all well.
You can't have a bad day, let's put it this way.
No, you
You
gotta
cannot afford that.
no, you can't do that. But it's the business actually speaks for itself. It's laid out for itself. So, and right away out of the gate, it's good. It's good vibes. It's positivity, and people are in the happy, and the client is in the happy mode. It's not like it's not like you're an accountant dealing with someone like, oh, I got to deal with this today, or I got to deal with this for the week. You're bringing joy to people's
Yeah,
lives, from
it's
the
something you look
from
forward to.
yeah, from like groups of friends and family to the kids, and it turns out to be a lot of fun. So, but doing these picnics, which I'm so blessed to have fallen into this whole thing, and for the amount that I do in one season, actually probably about 4, maybe 5 months out of the year, because I start these in May. So I'll get the 3 months, and then I get the 2 months on the shoulders. So I'll get May
Yes.
and September.
Yeah.
But doing them, I'm whatever how many of that I do in those 5 months. I'm on beaches from Montauk all the way to Southampton. So I get to see everything. If I get a booking for the night in Southampton, I have to get to, even though they come at 7 o'clock, it takes me about an hour and a half to set up with the staff and all that. But I'm in Southampton for the day.
Yeah.
I can't afford to leave here at 4 o'clock or
Yeah, of
5
course
with the
not.
traffic so
Oh
I
yeah.
leave here literally at 11 o'clock in the morning, 12,
Yes.
and just hang out in Southampton for that. But when I'm hanging out in Southampton for the day, I'm hanging out with the surfers for a couple hours. I'll be hanging out in town. I'll be hanging out maybe with
Day
artists,
trippers.
day trippers. Yeah. So, and then I'll run into people who are having some kind of like art opening or store opening, and it's interesting because I'm in Southampton for the whole day.
And then
And
you run into me and I'm complaining about how come you don't show up and
yeah, which
you
gives
have
me
to deal
good
with me
balance.
at
Gives
least
me good
once a week.
balance, and then I feel like shit for
Like,
myself
okay,
for the whole
okay,
day.
here's Haim. I know what day it is today, and I know what's gonna just happen now.
Yeah,
But
exactly. So you give good balance. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
But so you are in the business of really bringing happiness to people and making their special moment
Mhm.
seem effortless. And also, it helps that you're good looking and you're social and
Yeah.
all this, uh, so you can really also, let's say, write to the local papers on weekly basis and tell them about the demeanor of community. That would be like Justin's corner,
Yeah,
uh,
again, just because I'm out and about, I'm not terribly intelligent. I mean, I think I'm half an idiot, to be honest with you.
why is that?
But no, no, no. It's just that I'm out there, and everyone's asked me, you got to do some type of a community vlog or some sort of newsletter or something because you really do see everything. And not to mention, I deal with so many, again, from Southampton all the way, or even actually this year I took picnics in Hampton Bays. So they're very scarce. I had two of them, but so I can add that to my roster, doing these things from Hampton Bays all the way to Montauk. And when
Yeah,
I'm out there for the day and I'm talking with people, you really hear their issues.
yeah,
Completely different from the guy in Southampton compared to the guy in Montauk, and
absolutely.
they're deeply felt about them. They have deep feelings and opinions about these issues,
Yes.
and you hear them, and you start to get like you start to take on their feelings about certain issues, and then when I see certain issues on certain vlogs and so forth about like 27 East or Hamptons.com, whatever it might be, I start to comment on them. Meanwhile, I don't even live in the town.
Appropriately, yes, of
Yeah, yeah.
course,
Try to do
accordingly,
it
yes,
appropriately.
yeah, yeah.
Appropriately.
But also, there's a heritage that goes along with this profession. For that sake, just any profession, we've been knowing each other and kind of
Yeah,
crisscrossing each other's path in the last two and a half
yeah,
decades. A lot changed in the. I mean, first years that I met you, we
yeah,
were like literally teenagers in
yeah,
our mid 20s.
yeah,
With our behavior, with our,
yeah. I don't know about you, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I looked up
you
to you.
still
You were like this.
yeah. Well, and now that I'm talking about my kids that I kind
No,
of
I know. Yeah,
will be very soon teenagers,
yeah.
but uh, so we carry some kind of deposits of experience and knowledge that represent really layers and times that can relate to the entire community. Period. It's like
Without a
it's
doubt.
amazing how. So what is the number one topic issue kind of that when you come together with a group that comes to the surface?
In what sense?
What kind of conversations are taking place? What kind of uh, people are willing to share about themselves as you're actually providing them with your services?
Should we do
On the-
Italian or Greek?
so,
No, 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 no.
and then later I want to go. I'm going to
Yeah,
go deep into your traveling and all
yeah,
that,
yeah. No,
which actually brings everything together.
yeah. No, I think. Well, I get so clearly the people that are well, I get about 80, I would say probably 80, 90% of the people that hire me are people, um, the haves, not the have-nots,
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
city, right?
Well
Who
to do.
hire me, right? Well-to-do people who can afford these such things, and then the other 10 or 20% are the people who are local. They've been here for a lot of years, generation after generation, and I'm very affordable when clearly I'm not going to
Yes.
charge them for the thing.
Yeah.
So for the well-to-do people that come out here, and as soon as like I said, when they come, the whole setup is done, and then they eat. It's everything's on. For the most part, the good paper plates. So there's no like major cleanup or anything like that. So I can really spend a lot of time with them. And the big conversation all the time is just they are always asking me, what is it like out here out of season?
Yeah.
And how do you is it peaceful, is it this, is it that? And we were thinking about staying out here till at least November, December. Should I stay out here through the whole winter? And I'm very opinionated about that.
Yes. Yes.
About late December and January, no.
No.
No, yeah, no, no, no. They said, what is it
It's
like with the locals? And I said, and even I said it's fantastic, and I've even done a number of vlogs and small videos on the true locals that make this place tick out here, from people who pick oysters, and to the horse community, and to artists and things like that. So, and they don't really get to see that side at all,
yeah.
which is really a really beautiful gift that we have out here of all the
Y-
true locals that make things happen.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And
tuna fishermen, all the different, actually, I should say all the different types of fishermen. And I live, so yeah.
yes, you live on the water, so
Yeah, I
you
live
get
on
you
the
get a
water
lot.
myself. So even for myself, when I started living on the water, uh, clearly I live on a sailboat, but I'm in a marina where there's all different types of sailors, sailboats, catamarans, all different types of fishermen. And then you get the oyster guys and these
Yeah,
things like that. So it's like, wow, this is,
and then people from all walks of life that own the sailboats there and all
oh
this
my
coming in
God,
and
yeah.
out
And then
from all directions.
all
It's
directions, yeah.
nonstop.
Met one couple with a small team that came in from Sweden last week.
Hmm.
So, that's pretty interesting. And then they leave. I think they actually go to the Caribbean after here. So, and you hear about their travels or the crossover, which is like wild. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Amazing, yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah. So,
So how does this? I just wanted to mention to people that Justin, picks up about 3, 4, 5 months a year, almost traveling, and must commend you for your consistency of keeping in touch. But keeping in touch in your book is literally communicating as if you're a corresponder. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? You're really good at it by now. It's second nature. It's important,
mm-hmm,
and I see you periodically enough to realize not only the progress, the nature of the progress, and
mm-hmm,
and how I actually finding myself enjoying it. Like literally, I go, okay, let's see if I can bump into Justin, and he was going to tell me about his new ordeal, new experience, new town, new this. I learned a lot about all these new, small towns in Italy
mm-hmm.
and kind of hidden places and the feel of things and all that.
Yeah.
So how do you bring that together with your life here? Like what? How does it make sense when there's a union between your traveling and between actually meeting people here that doing their travel, and
Yeah.
you're one of their stops? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's well, look, I love the Hamptons. I love the Hamptons on such a deep, on a truly on a surface level and on a deeper level. So uh, I I think this year, maybe last year, traveling for 3 months or whatever it was, and not coming back. I think maybe 3, 4 months because I was in Fort Lauderdale, I was in Miami, Bimini, places, the islands, and things like that. And then I took off to Italy for 2 months, and eventually I was away for I think 4 or 5 months or whatever, and then I come at the tail end of that 4 or 5 months. I was really missing the Hamptons, and I think it's one of those things. In order to miss something and love it, you got to leave it to appreciate it, and that's what it hit me pretty hard.
That means you missed me too.
Well, yeah, but it's funny because I'm ready to book my flight now. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, like can't get away. Can't wait to get away.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
meeting you with this stage. Either you can't get to get away, or
yeah.
you can't wait to come back.
I can't wait to come back. Right.
So,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah. No,
so
no, but like you start, like you go away for 3 months, 4 months, or whatever it might be, and then you're like, wow, kind of miss the Hamptons. I miss going into the coffee shop where the girl knows my name, and I don't even, they know how to make my coffee, or I go, or everyone says hi to you, or just they all know you. It's yeah, so you can miss it, and I think it's one of those things where in order to love something and appreciate appreciate it, you have to leave it.
So, do you feel are there any like kind of political discussions when you interact with people,
Oh my
especially
God.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
tell me about that. I'm dying to hear
Yeah,
about that.
so clearly, it's
It's-
so people that
who's
come,
making fun of who? That's what I want
yeah.
to know.
Well, it's a 50-50. I mean, I'm doing a lot of these picnics, and then I got charter boat stuff going on, and I got all sorts of things. So I'm dealing with everybody, and even when I'm traveling for the 4 months out of the year, I love to listen to people. I want to feel it, hear it from. I always tell people. People ask me, "Oh, what do you watch? What type of person are you? You watch CNN or you watch Fox or
No,
whatever?" I go, "No,
none.
I no. Have you ever heard of the Source?"
So
The
yes,
source, you go to the
to
source,
the
and let
source.
me tell you something, you get a completely different answer or opinion from
Yeah,
these networks.
yeah,
Completely, because seriously, I do. Uh, Either going to particular states because I travel a lot in this, to different a number of states in the month of November and December. uh, and I want to hear the people. I want to hear, tell me it, because I don't want to hear. I heard what Fox says. I heard what CNN says. I heard what MSNBC. You tell me,
yeah.
and you get a different opinion. So, but when I do these, when I'm uh, in interaction with so many different types of people from all walks of life. I got to tell you, it's a 50-50 out there. And these are people clearly that feel comfortable enough to talk to me about politics, because I love politics. I truly do. And they'll feel comfortable to say, "Hey, can we talk about this with you?" Or and so on. And so, no matter what side you're on, there's a respect and a mutual respect and a common ground for no one to get heated.
Yes, but while underneath the surface, there's exactly zero tolerance for real discussion, if you know what I mean. I always end up if I want to say, first of all, I'm a registered Democrat.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
here I revealed it. I said it. Probably 90% of the people who watch it now won't believe me.
Yeah.
But I don't live in order to convince people to believe me or not.
Right.
I'm just saying, if I don't speak politics, in this show. I think in almost a decade that we don't utter a word about it, and because we don't know enough about anything we can only make fools of ourselves to get into a territory where you don't really have
and lose friendships
and lose friendships. Oh,
and even on the, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I belong to a group like lately where I just heard people talk and I had to stop them while they were like trying to, and I said, you're contradicting yourself constantly. I can't sit here and listen to you, and I don't know if you're aware that you are or not, but still, nevertheless, I cannot tolerate that. Are you aware of that? And then they take it to heart, and then you realize that you either keep to yourself or you're going to be expelled from the group. Like they wouldn't want it. They will just say, you know what, too much pressure, too much controversy, too much, all the important things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't do that to win or to lose or to whatever. Yeah. I remember when, for example, it's a great example. You remember the artist dinner that we used to have at Saracen?
Yeah.
Wonderful gathering. So the elections, Bush and Al Gore, it was, I think. Yeah, I think so. So the entire group, 97%, are all avid liberals and whatever, and they stop at anything. They won't stop at anything. Allow me to explain who they are. And I'm like, just for the sake of allowing a different voice, acted as if I am the opposite of them, which I wasn't. But I just wanted to see.
Yeah. Up on their heels.
Oh my God. So what happens is Bush won.
Yeah.
Bush Jr., whatever. So I come to the artist dinner.
The next one,
And out of the blue, I said, you know what? Screw it. They're all like it was like a wake.
Yeah.
Like they're all morbid, the end of the world.
Yeah.
The end of life as we know it. So I said, screw them. I stood on the table and I raised my arm and I said, long live the Republic.
No way.
I swear.
And what happened? Any gunshots?
Listen. They knew that I speak in the name of, hey, listen, if we have a mayor or a president that's been elected, we need to allow him to govern.
Yeah.
That's the key, not to elect. Let him friggin' show us that he's good 100%. Or a failure.
Yeah,
no,
100%.
You don't just, it's ridiculous. The life that we live now in the United States, like when Bush or when Obama were voted in, I was amazed by them. I said, look, do you know what this individual had to go through, technically speaking? To for months and months and months and dealing in people, hardly sleeping, always fearing that someone's going to shoot you. And then now they prevail. You know how much respect that you need to respect a person like this.
Game planning,
just
coercing, manipulating.
A professional politician in front of you. Respect him. Now, allow him to govern.
Right.
Let him prove that he's a failure or a success, but we need to find out. You can't just it's very easy to be evil.
Yeah.
It's very easy to be evil.
Okay.
Very difficult to be good.
Yeah.
I cannot understand the logic of it, but this is reality. So there they knew that I introduced a crazy act, what I did, but they also know that I'm very intelligent.
Right.
That they cannot just say, oh, who's this loser standing on the table and saying that.
Right.
They know that. But once they start a thing with me, there's no end to it because,
Yeah.
But this is our country. So, and then you know that And just as
Yeah.
much as the other side knows, they cannot change. We cannot change each other. We cannot contribute
No.
enough that there will something every time we'll give, and then there's a big change. It's just that's what scares me, not people's opinion, but that there's no room, hardly any room for discussion that would lead to change. That is always a good idea. Don't you agree with me?
100%. This is nuts, but I would say in the last 2 years, which a year can go by quite fast with the traveling I've done in certain places, I have sat literally with about five recognizable journalists, right? Recognize across the board. I mentioned there's not one person that nobody would not know. And I said to them, and it just happened by chance, right? I was someplace in Palm Beach, literally in a thrift shop in Palm Beach, and someone had come in, and this person is quite. I think the person even lived in the Hamptons for a long time, and I'll just say she's a woman, and she came in the thrift shop, and she was looking for like couches or something like that. So I'm actually sitting on a couch, and then and she knows the climate of the Hamptons and the journalists throughout the Hamptons that live out here, and the number of these other journalists. And I said to them, I said, can I say this slightly with respect? But I said, your industry, your profession, you have turned the public into this "my guy is better than your guy" mentality,
Yeah.
and you've got all these people at each other's throats, and because of either your own narrative, your own spin, your own point of view, your own opinion, which is, and each and every one of them, I would say three of them not only agreed with me. One person left a major network to go work somewhere else where they were more independent
Yeah.
and had view and can write
It's
kind of.
happening a lot in the last 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's out of control.
Yeah.
It's like I said,
No,
it's
that some of them go out of the industry in order to use their social media as their stage.
yeah, they're like, but they hated being controlled by the higher ups
Yes,
on
of
what to
course.
say and write their own narrative and things like that. I mean, even journalists now have gone from, if you look at all these journalists and you Wikipedia them or you read their stories on an educated level, they're not just labeled as journalists. They're labeled as journalists slash entertainers.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, which means they because you can't be a journalist and be a commentator and someone who views their own
You deliver
opinions.
the facts. You let the professionals decipher
Yeah, yeah, you tell the
what
news.
it
That's it.
means. Yeah.
But there's more money for them in being an entertainer than there is journalism. There
And for
was
that sake, they have to place their opinion.
They have to place their opinion and their personality. There was a big article, I think. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but there was a big article about a particular journalist that covered a major national story that went international, and because he was so hands-on and so emotionally connected to this particular issue, uh, he got the ratings went up on the network. Instead of being a journalist and going and say, "Hey, this is it. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and we'll continue from there." No, this guy was, and he was phenomenal. It was fantastic at this particular. It was during Hurricane Katrina, so I don't need to mention the journalist, but this person was so emotionally connected to it that I was watching it, and this guy got this new uh, uh, got this new opinion from a lot of people. They enjoyed watching him because he was so personally connected to this disaster with Hurricane Katrina that his ratings went through the roof instead of just being a journalist. And that's when they said, you know what, we might just have you say as a commentator. People like watching you,
Yes.
your opinions, but you're not a journalist.
You know
Then.
that yes, and maybe that's a
And that's
huge
what they're.
mistake because at first it seems good and
Yeah,
balanced, but then you realize that they don't have what it takes. Those that you thought, but just because public opinion, you accelerate their progress, so to speak, and
no,
then suddenly you realize that they don't. At certain times, they have no answers. They have no energy.
no.
They have no
The-
stamina, and then they come across as fools, and they
yeah,
can make mistakes on the air and whatnot.
all right. Look, these people are very attractive and very entertaining and enjoyable to watch on TV to begin with, right? And there's nothing more attractive when somebody's emotionally connected to something.
Yeah.
You could say that for
In
art,
addition to looking good.
in addition to looking good, right? And a good makeup artist, right?
Yeah.
But when you start attaching your own narrative and opinions on politics, now you're creating a divide. That's where the divide is.
Yes.
Because someone who genuinely liked you, all of a sudden your opinions and beliefs are going against their beliefs and ideologies. It's like, hey man,
Yeah.
now you've
It's a premature dead end.
yeah. And by the way, like I mean, clearly I'm on one side, right? Whatever side I'm on. But I'll be honest, I've learned, and just because I say this lightly, I have a good eye in, and I've had clients that worked for the White House and worked in entrenched in politics on a major level, major scale, and I've learned from them and been greatly to have them in my company to give me the insight of how all this worked.
Yeah.
So and I've kind of learned through the years, when this fire that's going on, is not to be so emotionally attached to your own opinion or belief. Don't hate someone on the other side. Hell, although I'm on one side, I love the other side's opinions. Hey,
Yeah.
wait a second, I don't want to be one-sided. Let me hear your viewpoint. Let me hear this.
Yeah.
But now, whether it's social media or in the public or at some private someone's home, people are so emotionally attached to something, they're fighting at each other's throats. It's crazy.
Yes,
I
and
mean,
yeah, and sometimes you cannot help but ending up being trying to be politically correct, because you just
and what's it kind of
the,
and the other thing,
politically correct, meaning that that you don't want to get into um, a stressful situation
no,
when you're not worried about being stressed or that it's demanding. You're worried about the fact that the person in front of you, is not compatible for a grown-up conversation, a grown-up interaction. It's a losing proposition. So it takes some time to realize that that's the case and maybe bypass it. But I feel bad every time I'm doing it. Listen, if you belong to a group of people that just want to get together without a definition of what this gathering is all about, just gathering, period.
yeah,
Okay? Then you suddenly tell someone, listen, uh, we don't like your style because your style is causing us to feel uncomfortable, because we obviously have no room for flexibility here, that we can say, okay, yeah, fine. So maybe we can ask you a few more questions to challenge you and help you change that attitude by showing you that we're intelligent and we can communicate with you. But no, we're going to come to you and say, in the most kind of hesitant, almost like I'm sorry type of thing, but you got to go.
Mhm.
And then you say, you know what? This is how fascism took place and grabbed a hold so quickly in the last century. When you start saying, listen, I know you're a top notch scientist, but we're going to have to do away with you.
right.
And apologies without saying an apology, just by my language towards you.
Yeah.
Language full of love and consideration, but yet I'm taking you to the dungeon.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So this is exactly what we face here in this neighborhoods, community, town, city, state, country.
Right.
Okay, all the levels, from the village to the big city.
Right.
And then you say thousands and thousands of occurrences like this take place on daily basis,
Yeah, of course.
24/7. So
Yeah.
you're saying, look how much damage can be caused for nothing, just
Right.
because there's some people who cannot say to themselves, you know what, I'll keep quiet for the next half hour. Or maybe I will just keep on nodding. And while I'm nodding, I'll form in my head my reply to this individual. And then you kind of keeping it going. And
Yeah.
inevitably, it's a natural growth. You don't have to think about growth and all this. But do you think anybody out of the millions that gave, for example, President Trump hell, just like they gave Obama hell, just like they gave Clinton hell,
Yeah.
and Bush hell,
Yeah.
do you think they stopped for a second to think what it really means to be the president of the United States? The enormity of that task, the guy that runs this country, and we live in this country, and a lot of things in his hands. What would I do? Try and derail him, discourage him, weaken him? Will I think that there's a possibility that any of my action can cause that?
Yeah.
A must to think about.
Yeah.
But do you think anyone stopped and thought about it? That maybe you exhaust your president and then he needs to make some friggin' important decisions. Not that he's stupid, he's distracted, he's tired,
Yeah.
he's exhausted, and he needs to deal with you and your stupidity just
Yeah.
because you want to just externalize your thoughts and feelings.
Lawyers,
Who suffers?
attorneys,
Who
political
suffers?
strategists.
Who suffers? The demeanor of this community that our life depends on suffers
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
So do you think you can talk to this person and say,
Yeah.
hey, why don't you just next time think about it a little bit before?
Yeah.
He will either punch you in the face or dismiss you altogether.
Right.
And who wants that?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants that?
Right.
Nobody. So you just leave.
Yeah. But if whoever gets elected, and people that still, like you said, if you can't just, he got elected, whoever gets elected, right? Win, lose, or draw, let the person do their job.
Yes.
Because the only one that's suffering is you. If you're going to harbor ill feelings and this and that, you know how many times I've actually got emotionally attached to certain politics and then they've lost. And I literally, at dinner parties, sitting with people who are on the other side, and I love these people, you know, they're people I highly respect and are dear to me, and dinner parties because their politician got elected. I literally put my tail between my legs, went around the room, shook everyone's hand, and I said, "All's fair in love and war. Let's hope this guy does it. I hope this guy, because now I can rest, you know,
Yes.
or I can do, you know, I can go about because I want the guy to do good.
Of course.
I want him to do good, even though he's not on my side. I want him to do good.
Yeah.
You know, whoever that might be, but yeah, and that's that, you know. So.
Yeah, folks in the United States.
But but do you know what the number one question I would say? I wouldn't say. I think it is the number one question. Wherever I travel, and I'm country-wise, right? And all the countries are mostly close to one another, like Malta or Italy, or Croatia, or whatever. So, and they'll ask me, they'll say, "How is your country so emotionally attached to these politicians?" You know, it's and when you really look at it, I mean, there's people in this country. I mean, I met a lovely lady at Sunset Beach just before the end of the summer. Beautiful woman, great conversation. Her friend ended up coming over. We're sitting at the bar, ordered food, whatever, laughing and super fun. And all of a sudden, the thing of politics came up, and because I felt comfortable with her, I said, "Well, I'll be honest with you, you know," and I kind of expressed my feelings. This is what
done.
no. I said, not hating whatever side she supports or whatever.
That,
yeah, but I felt comfortable enough with her after about an hour of conversation.
But anyway,
this person couldn't wait. Like, first of all, the conversation turned combative with her and a friend. Her friend was actually calming it down. Her friend was a bit nice about it. So I said, "Hey," and I try to, you know, diffuse the situation a little bit. No, but this is 45 minutes, an hour before all this. We had a great time being jovial, funny, jokey, and just being a young person on a Sunday night in the Hamptons, you know. And then the moment politics came up, it kind of went south. And then, so I tried to like bring it, rope it in and diffuse it and calm it down. She couldn't wait to leave, get up and leave. I said, "Hey, where are you going?" And I've had enough, you know, this is too much for me or whatever. And and it wasn't like she was at my throat, but she was being nice about it, kind of thing. And I was just like, you know, the truth of the matter. Here's a fact. Both sides, right? Here's a fact. Both sides have an agenda, right? That's a fact, right? Now, whatever that agenda is, it is what it is. Both sides, for the people who support whatever side, you're lucky at best that we, the people, know more than 5% of what's really going on. In a strong opinion.
Absolutely.
At best.
At
and,
best,
and let me tell you, I know a fair bit about politics, you know, only because of the clients I've had and being interested in politics and the inner workings of it and things like that, from, you know, and from the public relation groups to the bankers to the special interest groups and how they move it and things like that. So anyway, at best, you're going to get emotionally attached, get heated up over something that you know less than 5% of,
and have zero control over.
Zero control. If a particular news group didn't force a particular narrative for 6 months, a year, 2 years, didn't do it at all, you and I would have had the best conversation in the world with this young lady and I.
Yeah.
And who knows, we could have been great friends.
Yes.
You know, but you chose which is and I truly liked her. I thought she was a really nice young lady, and it just and she seemed,
We need to talk. I'll help you prevent that from happening next time.
yeah. I'm gonna take medication. I think, like something that knocks me out, where it messes. Like I start slurring my speech. I start slurring, and then they're like,
then you will be just succumbing to her
Yeah,
demeanor, and she would love you more and more every
Yeah,
second that
so-
goes by.
yeah,
But yeah, that's the same. That's the same attitude that I'm trying to tell you. It's like when someone calls you and tells you, "Oh, this is me, and I'm the same nice man that you know,
yeah,
and I just want to chat with you a little bit." And then when he talks, you realize he's trying to say something that you know what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
So you say, "Hey, listen, Joe, cut to the chase. What do
Yeah.
you want exactly to tell me?"
yeah,
And then he said, "No, don't tell me. Let me tell you what you're trying to tell me. Are you trying to tell me like this and like that?" And he says, "Yes." And I said, F you.
yeah.
And who the F do you think you are? I mean, can you listen to yourself? And, well, because he's a friend, or was at least, because in 2 seconds, suddenly everything's shifting and you don't quite know why.
crazy.
And how is it possible?
Yeah.
You thinking about it while you're being upset and in this belief that it's actually happening while it's happening.
Yeah.
So you want to just fit in as many sentences as you want, but in the same token, you're supposed to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Say the least amount, like, "Hey, listen, I wish you luck.
Yeah.
I think you're a great person. You're really
Yeah.
trying hard, even though you're failing, but you're trying hard.
Mhm.
I give it to you."
Yeah.
No. So then, I say, I don't want to be sick to harbor it in and then pay the consequences. Why don't I just say everything I got to say, and then tomorrow I'll apologize?
Oh, yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
So, but this is not the way you are. And when we speak about you and I, we speak about 2 other million people that are talking like that
Yeah.
any second.
Yeah.
It's not like we are just a replica of something global and cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, you think about the totality of it, so much damage for nothing is taking place on a daily basis,
It's so
on the
crazy.
psychology of people and the quality of life. And
One of the things that's been sitting with me for a while, I'd say maybe like a month or so. So as you know, I've been to Austria and Germany a few years back, and I was studying only because I wanted to really learn about it, as the World War One and World War II history, and like the Holocaust and things like that. And one of the things, I really wanted to learn about it, so hence I went there. Right? Do you remember those years?
yes,
I
yes,
went.
of course.
I had never been, to a Holocaust museum or a concentration camp or anything like that. And I'm not Jewish, but I wanted to. I want to understand this. And I was in it for like maybe 6 weeks, which was pretty heavy, and I had to leave because it was getting too heavy. Because that's where my mind was, just learning again World War One and then World War Two and things like that. And the one question I always had was, how did all these people buy into this? This, like, what were they thinking? And there was a lot of people that went against it, which were not Jewish, and people that went against this whole movement, or even during World War One and those movements and things like that. But for the most part, the masses that were following this, like, first of all, why and how did they follow it? It's propaganda, and so you ask yourself, what were they thinking back then? It's pretty basic, right is right and wrong is wrong to whatever degree. But we're doing the same thing, following into this propaganda. The power of propaganda is pretty heavy, and I think today we're both sides are doing it, and because I could see it, I've learned it, I've studied it, and you see it through the media, and you see, and hence people are emotionally attached to these movements. They get heated, and why are you getting so attached to this when, again, you've got no control over it? You don't know the full story, you don't know the inner workings of it, and you don't know the
and you know that you don't know.
and you don't know the narrative or the agenda of where it's coming from. You're just seeing it on the surface, So I see it, but I could see the inner workings from these media companies, whoever they might be, the left, the right, the this, the that, and you watch it and you just say it's almost like you're taking a playbook from just repeating the same thing to move the masses.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my opinion. That's my strong opinion. But
Yeah.
but when you see them, and this is what's happening. This is why you get these insane fanatical movements that are like, what, just, so anyway,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I think that
am I wrong?
just as much. You're not. No. I buy everything
I
you
don't want
say.
to
Of
touch
course.
on anything
No,
sensitive with
no.
people, but
Here in this show, they can talk about anything you want.
okay,
We don't worry about anything as
because I
long
have the
as we.
scratch back here.
Yeah, you can do.
I'm
You
just
can do.
kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, here, as long as we keep the
Yeah.
integrity and decency
Yeah.
of the conversation,
Yeah.
then we're just. So that's why I would say
Yeah.
to myself, hey, before you come and break this news to me, remember that just a few months ago you were like begging me to become a part of this concept that you want to push me
Yeah.
away from right now,
Yeah.
and that you say how important I am to the discussion.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, you know what, I can forgive you because maybe you weren't strong enough already to do what was your agenda, and you didn't take under consideration that you might have people like myself a part of this group.
Yeah.
You didn't take that into consideration.
Right.
You were so naive that you thought that everyone will be like you, behaving like you, looking like you, speaking like you, talking like you,
Yeah.
believing like you. And then suddenly, oops, wait a second. Why am I itchy here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not supposed to be itchy.
Mm-hmm.
Use the best creams in the world.
Yeah.
Sleep well. I eat well. No.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that itch doesn't go away.
Right.
So either you scratch or you start mentally address the issue that there's a scratch that wasn't there before.
Right.
So, this is the analogy you want to say. So when you're an artist, you can go to the studio and say, okay, how many times I went to the studio and asked myself, what was the nature of Picasso and the likes of him going into his studio?
Yeah.
Then never mind that I realized at the end that they never go in and out. They're always in the studio.
Right. Yeah.
Wherever they are is their studio. It's like insane.
Right.
But what is different? When I come and I'm going now, Springs Fireplace, one in the back there, wonderful quality. I have everything I need there. I don't even have a lock. I don't even have to stop and unlock the lock. Just come, move, go in. If it's hot, put the air conditioner. If it's cold, put the heater on. Down, boom, start working. What is it? What is the difference? There's got to be a difference because they sell their work now $500 million. Right. And the entire generations forever and ever speak about their effect on people.
Yeah.
How am I different from them? And from asking this question, I didn't get the answers for the longest time. But because I kept on asking it, regardless of whether I get an answer or not, I arrived to an understanding. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what it is now. If I share it with you, you won't feel different. I'm just telling you that I realized that this is fortifying my attitude, that when these people were creating, they said, screw them. I need to hate them that much in order to love them. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to create the best that I can, and I'm going to just throw it in their faces. I'm just going to just expose like this myself,
Yeah.
Raw, uncivilized, whatever it is, because it's all about the art. So hopefully at some point they won't be examining me. They will stop doing that. And I can continue to be peculiar as I want because they will examine my art.
Right.
It's just there's two different things. You can't. Most people think it's the same, the man and the work. No, it's two different things.
Right.
You have to do that in order to think that there's this possibility, if at all.
Right.
Yeah. So this is how we affect the world. That's why in Auschwitz, you had those who were killing right. There was a guy that has his pistol and his notebook, and he shot with his pistol 85,000 people. Long list, the top-notch evil in his jail. And guess what? In his previous life, he was a pianist, a great artist, full of soul and civility, educated and everything. So why is this story known? Because someone who survived Auschwitz told the story that he saw the most important pianist in that era in Germany in Auschwitz. And he knew that this evil guy was a pianist and he adores this guy.
Right.
So he's thinking, I'm going to get something out of it. He goes to the guy and he says, you won't believe who's here. So-and-so is here. So the guy thinks that he almost kills him. He said, "Don't play games with me. Don't lie to me."
Yeah.
He said, "He's here." What do you think he's doing? This killer. He goes. He finds him.
Finds who?
Finds that the pianist
Uh-huh.
that was brought to Auschwitz.
Uh-huh.
Like the same day, the day later, he was spared from the gas chambers.
Uh-huh.
Took him to his office. Brought him back to life. Had the best piano imported into his office in Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm.
He nursed him and was on his knees begging him, the master. "You're the master. I want you to play for me. I want you to give me a taste of your greatness."
Yeah.
This is the guy that goes out and kills 75 people, 80 people in a matter of hours, comes back with blood in his hands, but he's worshiping evil. So what does that tell us? It tells us that that art, and with all the intentions and meaning, serves as a buffer zone from that potential evil to go get out of control. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But who says that it's got to just be loose and then it's just like, fire everywhere and killing everywhere? No, it doesn't have to be like that.
Right, exactly.
So it's like almost you're keeping like this strategy of a boxer. He wants to also keep you the distance,
curtail it,
and then so
diffuse
he can utilize
diffuse it
exactly, so and then show you his moves.
Yeah,
he needs that space.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never heard that story. Wow.
Yeah, definitely
interesting. Wow.
And then so when I go into the studio, of course, nobody stops me from thinking or feeling any which way I want to, and that's the beauty. So I become an actor, and I feel the awkwardness even though I'm alone.
Yeah,
I'm self-aware. I'm still the same person, so I'm learning to let go and realize you're alone. Hey, you can speak your piece, do your thing. It's okay.
Yeah, do your thing.
Make a fool of yourself. It's fine. It's fine.
It's your own space.
Yeah,
so, and do it. Yeah.
And then I was surprised how difficult it was. But when you maintain that, then you build up. You're saying, yes, I'm doing something, and you don't need to see the proof of what exactly you're doing. You're just doing. You're doing something good, and it runs
100%. You're doing something good,
and you have that. I know that you can relate to what I'm saying.
That window that allows you to be you. It's like with these picnics and things. It's enjoyable. It doesn't take me long to set up, and when the people come, I have them for 3 hours, 4 hours, and it's a wonderful time for 4 hours. We're sitting on the beach. We're having a fire. We're setting off Chinese lanterns. We're whatever it might be. It's an enjoyable time with people. So, but that's interesting you said it, because I think it's just all about finding that space and allowing you to be you in that space. But if it's not tonight for me, I'll find my own space today. You know what I'm saying? It's about being creative. And I think everyone should do that. Find that one space, that one window allows you to be you and be creative and be inspired.
Yeah.
No one does that now. I don't think. I mean, I shouldn't say everyone, but I think there's a lot of people are just torn up. It's very disheartening where we are culturally.
Yeah, I think so.
It's disheartening. Everyone fighting and this and again going back to you really don't know what's going on. That goes for me as well. We don't know the full on truth.
No, we don't. We're better off not knowing.
And everyone's kind of like, everyone's sitting on eggshells. I think a couple of weeks ago, what someone had said. I don't know. I think I was at Golden Bear actually in East Hampton, and funny enough, out in the front there was a wonderful group of people out there, and those tables out in the front, and we're all having a laugh and chatter. And I think the conversation of politics came up, and someone had said, "I apologize, but I just want to let you know I'm on this side." And we don't have to talk about. The person was like so on the protective side of not upsetting anybody of the other people's feelings and viewpoints. That, do you understand what I'm saying? But
pretty bad.
But the guy was a pretty cool guy. Him and his wife and all that. And he enjoyed everyone's company, but it's and I said to him after everyone had left, I said, "Isn't that crazy the times we live in?" I said, "We're all on eggshells. Everyone's standing on eggshells, right? Like you're afraid to say anything, whether it's politics or some other issue going on. You can't really, you say the wrong thing and you're canceled, or you're done, or you're this, or you're that, and you're ridiculed. And come on, man, it's just, so That's again. I think it's disheartening, but I try not to give it much attention and try to find the positive. I think,
Yes.
it's all about surrounding yourself with positivity when there's negativity out there.
So well, first of all, Justin Ward is here with us on.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, who am I?
Where did all this go to?
Yeah, Friday morning,
Yeah.
September 27th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. No. So when you travel to, for example, to Italy and all this,
Yeah.
they don't, even technically speaking, they don't let this into their lives. That means they're too busy experiencing life, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Well, look,
nationalistic, obviously. When it's
yeah.
if you
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
France or Italy and all this, it's a well-known established factor. Even though other ethnicities, whatever, taking over, but still, there's a so you don't go to these small villages and people ask you what's up with America.
They ask me.
They do.
Yeah.
Tell me about
Quite
it.
often. No.
Please
So
share.
so when people say, I love going to Europe wherever I am, and I go to a lot of different small towns and cities and things like that, because if you're in the big cities, it tends to be a little bit more heated, which is natural, with politics, because you're in it, big cities. But the smaller towns and islands, from Sicily to Sardinia, people go about their own business, enjoy life. Look, I got to get up in the morning and I got to go harvest the field or something, tomatoes or something, or I got some work to do at this factory and company, or I'm an architect or whatever it might be. They go about their business and do it, and they don't get involved in it, and they seem to be more happy. They seem to be more happier people, and they know what's going on. They recognize what's going on politically, nationally in their own country or internationally, and so on. But they give it attention 5 minutes, and then they go back to their lives. And like I said, I've had. I think I was in Sardinia. Not once did I talk about politics for 3 weeks, and then I was there for I think 6 weeks or something. So it was just nice. But when they hear I'm American, they always ask me like, "What is going on over there?" It's when you're out of the forest looking at the trees, and normal average people, just normal people, mindful people are asking you that. You start to take take stock of like, what am I in here? You really start to recognize your own.
But there's also a lot that they don't know about the demeanor around life and
And
what freedom really means. And after all, it's
yeah, that's a whole other thing.
not so sure it's something that they.
But they ask like politically, and from all these riots and uprisings and all these, they're hearing it. And I go, well, where are you? Well, you can say like, I mean, it is insanity to a certain degree what's going on here. But when you look at it from the outside looking in, you kind of go, wow, are we really that bad? Have we really lost ourselves? I mean, we're fighting at each other. We're at odds with each other, this country right now. And not a good place to be. Not a good place to be.
Yeah, and considering that most of the things here in this country are good. It's all good. I mean, I don't understand.
This country's so good.
Whether you struggle in the big city in any state in the United States, or whether you're in the Hamptons or in whatever, it's all good. Nobody, if you don't bother anyone, nobody will bother you. I mean, it's just peaceful, and it's, really. I mean, you can go to the heart of New York City and people will leave you alone.
Yeah.
You'll actually be there more of a loner than you can be in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, when I first came to the United States and I landed in New York, and I said, thank you, God, this is what it means and feels to just being able to chill out, being in a country that invented this word.
Right.
Chilling,
yeah.
When I came here,
we're so blessed. We really are.
But 1983, think about it. In New York City, 1983, I was there, and I'm saying to myself,
I don't think I was born yet, but anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you were 10 years,
13 or something like that. Born in 71.
Okay, 12 years old. Yeah. So, because chilling, you would think doesn't go with 42nd Street in 1983. This was the era before Giuliani. Yeah. It was insane.
Oh, I know it was. Yeah.
You couldn't go to even during the day to Central Park.
It was terrible.
You end up dead. Yeah. But I realized I was there for the first week, and I realized I'm here for full week between Brooklyn and Manhattan, and no one bothers me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's danger everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm left alone. No one comes and does that to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
even look at me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and my best friend always warned me, don't even look at people's eyes
Yeah.
because you're asking
Yeah.
for trouble.
Yeah.
Just be, and they let you be, and you be good. And indeed,
Yeah.
that's what I felt.
Yeah.
And I took that with me until 2001 when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And I realized, and I said, what's the biggest price that we've paid as a country
Uh-huh.
to the effect of 9/11? And I arrived to the conclusion,
What was that?
we cannot chill out anymore.
No.
We lost the ability to chill.
It's so true. That's a
They
good
took
point.
that away from us
Yeah.
because it was a beautiful, beautiful, promising, sunny September morning,
Yeah.
Tuesday morning. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It was the most perfect day on planet Earth ever. And all we did, even in the midst of all the tension, we were just kind of chilling, expecting another day,
Yeah.
middle of the week. No matter how you slice it, life is good.
Yeah.
And then they came and they said, sorry, but I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
You're in for a surprise.
Yeah.
And we didn't seem to recuperate from it.
I don't think so.
And,
Now,
and we need to treasure that quality to be able to chill.
yeah, I think it's been a long time since we've been there with that attitude and mentality. Now everyone's so critical. Everyone's, what side are you on? What side am I on? Are you with this community? Where do you live? You know, everything's so labeled now. Are we almost done, or?
Yeah, we got 3 minutes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think,
that?
but don't you agree? Like, everything's labels now. Everything's labels. And from your status to your where you live to your political views to your, it's like, man, stop it, bro. It's just, yeah. Does it? Are you better than me because you're this? Are you better than me because of that? Like, I love social media, but is social media good? I mean, I love it, and I know it's effective in a good way, but I think it has a big negative thing to it, where people are judging themselves or comparing their lives to other people's lives, and allowing people to label themselves to other people.
Yes, and that's why we need to keep on doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You chose a wonderful way, and I want you to let you know, probably you know it already, you affect people. People looking forward to hearing from you when you're traveling here, there, on the other side of the globe. A wonderful feeling. It's the service that you provide, and the feeling good feeling that you may make available. You cannot measure it.
Yeah.
It's so you're doing good. I'm very. I'm happy we're still friends.
Yeah. Are we? I didn't know. This is a soundproof room, right? Am I getting out of here?
We're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday and as much as we're here this morning, September 27th, year 2024, on a Friday morning here with the Hello Show. And my name is Haim Mizrahi. Thank you to our guest, Justin Ward. Justin, God bless. I wish you
Thank you
the
so
best.
much. I love your show. I've been on it for years.
Yeah. So it took a while, and I'm happy you're here. So that makes us very happy. Good luck with your traveling. You're always welcome here, that for sure. Mark your calendars for the group art show that we have here constantly every month, and this is going to be on display through the second week of October. God bless. Keep up the good spirits. Have Happy New Year to the Jewish community. It's next Wednesday, and we are approaching Halloween and Thanksgiving. Oh my God, right around the corner, and all that. We love you again. Thank you, Justin.
Grazie
I appreciate it. Bye bye.